I got a text at 71010. Lisa, I think our listeners are always proving that they're the smartest people around. You were talking about how science has shown...
good-looking people, too.
In our science stuff a few moments ago,
Yes.
in our nerd lab,
Yes.
you said science has shown that sleeping with certain scents in the room, like rose scent or lavender scent, can actually help your memories, memory retention and that stuff.
Yep.
And I mentioned, well, I got a dog beside me, so that's what I smell. And Texter says, well, Ryan, how about shampooing your dog with one of those scents? There you go. That's the solution.
That's actually pretty good.
Lavender-scented dog shampoo is the solution to my problem.
Be coming over and sniffing your dog. A rose would be nice, too. Is your dog male or female?
Female.
Oh, yeah, any of
Rose scent?
those would work. Citrus would be kind of cool. Citrus dog.
Yeah.
Since we can't get the juice. By the way, my sister says they have a container.
They do?
Yeah.
Like an old one that's been sitting around?
In the freezer.
Yeah.
Of frozen juice. $50 for the first person who wants it. Steal.
We'll start a black market for remaining
Orange juice.
frozen concentrate.
There
Anyways.
was one at one point, though.
Yeah. We can talk about all this because there's nothing happening in traffic. It's CFAX 1070 traffic, and it's clear. We've got nothing. It's smooth sailing other than watch out for paving delays on Cook Street, where they are going to be doing continuing paving work between Slater and Tolmie Avenue. That's today and tomorrow. Single lane alternating traffic. So there's that. But otherwise, we're looking good. Weather is overcast today. Highs to hit 20 degrees. Right now, it's 15.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Mayor of Saanich, Dean Murdock, is here. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Do you have any frozen juice concentrate stuck in your freezer that you'd like to offer up for auction here?
Oh, no, we don't have it. But that would be a good contribution to the party, wouldn't it?
Well, we just, this was like back in February that I guess Minute Maid frozen concentrated juice, they stopped making it, so it doesn't exist anymore. And our listeners have been weighing in on their lack of frozen juice. Anyways, that is not why we called the mayor of Saanich. Let's talk about the fact that there's a bunch of stuff going on we wanted to address here, including this week. I think this is a momentous occasion because for years you and I have been talking about the contentious Quadra-McKenzie plan. Mm-hmm. It's done, right? You guys finished it this week? What happened?
That's right. So we had a public hearing on the plan several weeks back, which took us through 3 readings, and final reading is what seals the deal and approves the plan. That took place on Monday night. So the Quadra-McKenzie plan has now been officially adopted into our official community plan after 2.5 years of multiple iterations and public consultation. The document's very different from what it looked like when we got started, but, I think that's the product of a very engaged citizenry that got involved in the process and really helped us shape the future vision for those 2 corridors.
How far away is it from where you started? The thing that's now fully adopted, how different is it from the first version?
Well, there were multiple changes that took place. Of course, the big controversy early on was the inclusion of dedicated transit lanes on McKenzie. That was pulled out of the plan. It doesn't mean rapid transit goes away on McKenzie, but we will go about planning that process differently. Changes to bike lanes on Quadra. A lot of changes regarding the height and density along both corridors. The size at the center at Quadra and McKenzie changed multiple times. It went from 12 to 18 to 24 and back down to 18 stories as a max. So a lot of things have changed, but I think we're better positioned for the future of Saanich and growth in those 2 corridors, so that more people can find a home and access the services and amenities that they need as we continue to grow. And I look forward to that vision being realized over the next 5, 10, 20 years.
It's been sometimes a heated conversation in Saanich, but they finally have adopted the Quadra-McKenzie plan. So I just wanted to mark that moment. I feel like that was a moment that needed to be said, and we can put that to
Momentous.
bed. Yeah, yeah, really. Another thing that was talked about this week is deliberations on short-term rental rules, and we should clarify a little bit what this means. So short-term rentals of up to 120 nights. So if you got a short-term rental, how many nights in a year are you allowed to rent that short-term rental out? I guess municipalities can put a limit on that, and you're looking at 120 nights in Saanich. Talk about this and what this actually means.
So what I think a lot of folks didn't realize, or maybe don't realize still, is that short-term rentals are actually not a permitted use in Saanich. We have a zoning bylaw that it's dated, so it talks about bed and breakfast, and you can get a license for a bed and breakfast, but most short-term rentals are not a bed and breakfast, and so they're not a permitted use. When the province made its regulatory changes around short-term rental, that they can only be in a primary residence, you can't rent out an investment property, for example, as a short-term rental, that also required a license that would be provided on the platform like Airbnb or VRBO. Once people needed a license to list their short-term rental in Saanich, they were stuck because they couldn't be issued one. So we were being asked repeatedly, why can't I have a short-term rental in my home? We prepared some draft regulation that initially proposed 60 nights. Council didn't like that, so it came back with a recommendation to go to 90 nights. Most of council didn't like that, and so now it's been set at 120 nights. That will be in the new bylaw, and we will review it over the next couple of years and determine if that's working.
Okay, so it's more so than just setting a limit. This is sort of crafting a whole bylaw to just enable this to happen at all in Saanich.
That's exactly right. I think what folks didn't realize was that they were actually not permitted. And so it's not that we're putting a restriction on, we're actually enabling up to 120 nights.
But that number, the 120 nights, one thing I thought was interesting about the story is that there's no provincial standard for that. Each municipality gets to decide. Right. I think it's different. You know, Esquimalt, for instance, I was looking at it, has 180 nights as its limit. It's going to be different in other places. I think Victoria allows 160 nights, I'm seeing. So 120 for Saanich. Why did you settle on that number and not one of the other numbers?
Well, you know, one of the things that's interesting about that process is that every municipality has, as you said, different numbers of nights that they permit. They also have different portions of the home or units on the property that are included. So, for example, in Victoria, it can only be the primary part of the dwelling. So if you have a secondary suite or a garden suite, that is not included. You can't rent that. Our staff said that's very challenging from a bylaw enforcement perspective. And so ours will be 120 nights, but it can be any of those units on your property because that really is the easier thing to enforce and creates more flexibility for individuals and families. But every municipality does it a little bit differently. There's no set template that we were using. So our staff did an environmental scan to see what's out there, and they came back with a recommendation of 60 and then 90 nights. Council determined that they wanted to be a little more flexible and went for 120 nights.
All right, so that's where we're sitting at. It's not a done deal yet. You still have to pass all the bylaws, and the things still have to get finalized. So I guess, don't come applying for it just yet, but it's still in the works, and maybe by next year, this could be a thing that's done and open.
Yeah, that's certainly our hope. I think from a bylaw perspective, we can move fairly quickly. The permitting process, I think, might be a little longer in the uptake, but certainly by the early new year, people should be able to apply for a license to do a short-term rental.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and I just had a text message here saying, hey, when does the new short-term rental bylaw in Saanich come into effect? There you go. There's the answer. Mayor Dean Murdock of Saanich, we're right at a time, though. Thanks so much for joining us today, and good luck with this.
Thanks so much.